We are now just 6 months away from the official release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker by director J.J. Abrams, that is all set and ready to insert a lot of prequel trilogy and original trilogy continuity, as well as Jedi and Sith lore into this story. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. So what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that this movie is the culmination of the Skywalker saga and really is going to introduce a lot of new aspects to the Star Wars franchise that fans have never seen before on the big screen. And that really does speak volumes by J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio and even George Lucas and what they're trying to do with this movie to really mark itself down as the best of the sequel trilogy. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that it's described that a description of one of the scenes where it's described that Rey is meditating inside of the crystal cave on a large boulder, where next to her it's described that there is a large backpack of hers laying on the ground that holds many of Luke's belongings from Act 2. It's described that eventually Rey goes through the bag full of relics and discovers a certain object that Luke owned and kept locked away that once belonged to Qui Gon jinn, that Luke Skywalker got from Kenobi's hut sometime after the events of the Battle of Endor. It's described to be a device that is in the shape of a cube and appears similar to a Jedi holocron, and is said to reveal all of the locations of the dark temples throughout the entire galaxy. It's said that this device once belonged to Qui Gon jinn when he eventually handed it down to Kenobi, which in turn Luke discovered in Kenobi's hut and has kept it ever since. The device that Qui-Gon owned was said to have existed for hundreds of years, if not more than that, also glows in a white hue when Rey touches it. So what's really interesting about all of this is that this is once again tapping into Sith lore that is going to be connected to one of the iconic prequel trilogy characters, no other than Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, that eventually fell into the hands of Luke Skywalker. Now, it really does bring one to question, why would Qui-Gon Jinn be interested in the Dark Temples? Now, it's worth noting that Qui-Gon also had his own ways of the Jedi. He didn't necessarily go along with all of the rules of the Jedi Council, so he was a very interesting character. I would definitely have to say that he was pretty much on par with Obi-Wan Kenobi, Luke, and Anakin, one of my favorite characters of all time. Now, yes, we do know that Qui-Gon Jinn is not going to be a character in this movie, but this most certainly is an amazing reference to the character and a great way to really just add in more Sith lore, as well as lore that's going to be connected to an older Jedi from many years ago. So this actual device is said to be in the shape of a cube and is said to somewhat mimic that of a Jedi holocron, even though it isn't. It's said to glow in a white color when Rey touches it, and is also said to guide a Force-sensitive individual to all of the dark temples throughout the entire galaxy. You guys may recall that we actually went over not too long ago that Snoke was actually in a discussion with Vader of revealing all of the different dark temples, and that these dark temples actually offer the official answer to immortality. Now, is it very much possible that the reason as to why Qui-Gon Jinn even had this device on him is that he was trying to learn the technique of immortality? Could it very well have been that this is exactly how he was on the road to the path of becoming a Force ghost, or something around those lines? Now, we do know that Episode 9 is really going to offer a lot of these little pieces of Jedi and Sith lore that can very well be expanded in the forms of books, novels, comics, video games, whatever have you. You know, Episode 9 really does have a lot of potential by J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio of what they're really trying to do. So as far as Luke Skywalker goes, it's described that he has actually had this device ever since sometime after the events of the Battle of Endor, when he discovered this in Kenobi's hut that was eventually handed down by Qui-Gon Jinn to Kenobi. So you can really see how they're really trying to interconnect all of the legacy characters and the sequel trilogy-based characters to tell a specific story and to tell specific references to past characters. And I think that this is by far one of the more interesting prequel trilogy callbacks, is that you're giving us a little callback of Qui-Gon Jinn, but you're also adding in something new. So we can already see that J.J. Abrams, you know, how he's a fan of the prequels and such, is really showing in Episode 9, and how this movie really is going to really pay homage to those movies, which is great. So the other thing that I do want to go over is how Episode 9 is also going to be a film that's going to use the Jedi and Sith artifacts and the lore itself as a way in order to evolve both Rey and Kylo Ren into the third act of Episode 9 into completely different characters. So these characters are going to evolve quite in a progressive way from start to finish of Episode 9. Now, even the editor, Marianne, has said before in the past that this movie is a big movie and they had far less time to edit the thing, and that's exactly why they had to edit the film on set. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.